Hi, this is Pat Moorhead, and the 6.5 is on the road in New York City at MongoDB Local 2023. As you can hear by the excitement and the noise and all of this awesome stuff going on, we are in the middle of an event. Daniel, how you doing, my friend?
You know, it's been a good day. If you wouldn't, you'd be remiss to not say that AI has been a focus.
That's right.
And you would also be crazy if you're a tech company not to be talking about AI right now.
Exactly.
So, you know, I came here excited to hear the vision, excited to hear about new technologies and products, and really bridge that gap between the boardroom, I call it the D-suite, the developers, and the C-suite in the boardroom. Because really, we live our world crafted on apps, and MongoDB is really at the center of that. So Pat, we are in the right place to be right now.
And we have an incredible smorgasbord of conversation with multiple companies. I mean, end users, amazing consulting and firm to pull everything together, and MongoDB. So gentlemen, thanks for coming on the 6.5. I appreciate that. So, Nadeem, Wells Fargo, make sure you get this right, Arindam from Capgemini, and Alan from MongoDB. Thanks for coming on the show.
Glad to be here.
Thank
you.
All right, Nadeem, I want to start with you. You know, Pat, on the 6.5, we always talk about how excited we are when we get to see the customer, and the customer comes on the show. And you know, as tech analysts that work a lot with the vendors, we hear a lot from the vendors. We hear quite a bit from the SIs that deploy the vendors, but you're sort of the ground truth.
We have them surrounded too.
There you go.
You have pundits, right, and vendors,
Vendors,
and
integrators.
right here.
But I mean, you are the, you know, you're listening to Dave on stage, and then you listen to the product team, you're hearing what they're rolling out. You're kind of then making determinations of, we're going to try this, we're going to wait on this, we're all in on this one. And by the way, you know, you recently got a Gold Stevie, clearly recognized within you know, the industry of really putting resources behind technology. We all know that the financial services market is one that's rife for continuous disruption, but also everybody, all the consumers, all the businesses are looking for better experiences. I'd love for you just to give a little bit of your impression on what you heard today, talk a little bit about your relationship with MongoDB and what you guys are doing you know, with all this technology that we're hearing about today, and of course, the legacy of what you've been building on.
Absolutely. Look, it's a great event to be in. Lots of, you know, AI, I'm counting how many times the word AI has been used.
It's 3 more now.
3 more, there you go. And it's almost as much as we use it in our, you know, in our meetings, in our discussion. It is the topic of the day, and I'm really glad to see the theme today has been about AI. But folks who've been in technology, this is not something new. We've known about it. We know what's behind it. You know, I don't want to call it a hype cycle. I think it's well above in the hype cycle, but we have to start looking at the practical implementations of what this AI means to someone like us in Wells Fargo as a financial institute. You know, there's the age-old thing we said, we don't want to be in the cutting edge because we don't want to be the ones who discover the faults in something new, but we want to be able to take advantage when something has been matured, so our customers can take advantage of that as well. So everything we're hearing today, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking of how this can be implemented and how and when we can implement it to offer products to our customers. So very relevant content, very relevant, and super excited to, you know, working with Mongo on all the things we're working on.
Yeah, you talked about practicality, and there's one level of practicality that says you're a financial institution and you have regulations everywhere, and if you make a mistake, bad things happen, right? But there's also the practicality of scale, which is just what a broad estate, how much data you must have in so many different areas. Can you talk a little bit about the scale of what you're doing?
Each time we talk about it, you know, it's both a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's also excitement, because data is the gold mine, right? That's the gold. What we can do, the personalized products we can offer our customers is inherently built into the data we have on every transaction, every knowledge we have for our customers. So, you know, it's the scale is. I come from Goldman Sachs before joining Wells Fargo. I thought that was large.
Right.
We're not. We're just, you know, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Wells Fargo. Large customer base, lots of trust, but our data and how we use the data scales. We're talking about, the way the industry is shifting. It used to be, when you use credit cards or loans, they used to be large dollar amounts. Now you have subscriptions. Now you have every 10 cents of transactions occurring on a credit card. All of that generates data.
All I know is my kids are hitting me up every other day with a request through my bank that,
Yes.
$10, $20, $30. So yeah, the rate of it just seems, it's compounding.
Exactly. I mean, Candy Crush, the amount of times Candy Crush has hit my credit card bill, I can tell you it's a lot. And it's so high volume, low dollar amounts, but high volume, and it's just exponentially getting bigger because of the subscription models for a lot of the offers and services we're now inheriting. So the data is only getting bigger. And this goes back to how do we collect it? How do we first be good custodians of it?
Yes.
And then utilize it to offer more personalized experience. And of course, digital experience. That's where everything is headed.
Yeah.
So with the whole onset of Gen AI, there's kind of these different schools of thought. There's this school of efficiency, which is kind of how do we get as lean as possible and implement generative AI capabilities to, well, again, we're in a year of austerity. Every company's trying to run a little bit leaner. Can we automate these processes? Can we automate our call centers? Can we, what can we do? And then there's also the buildings part of this thing where it's going to be about more. Whether it's more content and media, more applications to enable your customers to have those better experiences. Kind of, where are you focusing first? Where are you putting your first wave of effort as it comes to, developing future apps? And how do you kind of see that evolving?
Well, I'll answer that in two ways, right? So one, let's talk about the developers. We believe this generative AI is going to enable developers to be the kind of developers they want it to be, right?
Yeah.
Spending less time developing every single test case. Test cases can be generated. Code can be generated for commodity code. So they can spend time in the differentiating components of the code, right? That's what developers really want to do. Everything else is kind of like going to a college, university. You have your main course, and you have all these electives you have to take, right? I think that's where we think it's going to enable the developers to be able to focus on the right things. So I think similar to that, we look at this as an additive initially. Again, speaking from a financial organization, we want to be cautious about where it gets implemented, but we do think this will help accelerate the output that we want to get to. It will help us be that much more aware of our customers and offer that much more personalized services, as opposed to eliminate certain things. Now, along the way, will it help do things right now that are done by humans? Of course it will, but we are looking forward to taking those same humans and pushing them towards doing more and doing it more for our customers.
So I've run a few corporate strategy groups a couple jobs ago, and I always like to say, it's easy to say, yes, let's focus on the things we're not going to do, or let's prioritize and have a cut line. I'm curious, at the C level, how are you making these trade-offs? I mean, there's the cost side, there's customer experience, there's short-term revenue and profitability, there's long-term revenue and profitability. What's the framework for how you make trade-offs?
I think for each organization, we have to know what we're about, right? So when you look at the organizations that I've been part of, especially in the financial space, trust is a big component. So in order to be able to provide trust to our customers, operational risk is a big component, security is a big component. So those things are top of the line.
Yes.
Right? We don't prioritize or
no
anything
compromise.
about no compromise
Yes.
when it comes to security and when it comes to earning that trust. Now beyond that, we also recognize the market's changing. The way folks are interacting with financial transactions is changing. The storefronts are changing. All of it. So we have to continue to invest to offer products where the customers want it to be.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the financial transactions, it's amazing. There's two things that are becoming very inherent. Customers want optionality before purchase, at point of sale, as well as post, as well as the customers want to be able to make the financial transaction to be the most, the least relevant part of a transaction when they're buying services. They want to experience the purchase. They want to experience that, but be able to tap and make the payments. So when we make investments, we're keeping those things in mind. How do we prioritize operational risk and security above all, and then invest in places where our customers want us to be?
Yeah, I love that you brought up the trust. I mean, we all got a big reminder on trust in the last 6 months, right?
Yes.
So Arindam, you've been listening to us talk to Nadeem for a bit here, and obviously Wells Fargo is doing some very interesting things and has some real challenges. I feel like with you, we can just back out just a little bit because you're looking at the sector.
Yep.
And so whether it's with Wells Fargo, whether it's with other banking customers of Capgemini, talk a little bit about kind of how you're seeing the industry, seeing the opportunity, seeing the disruption, the innovation, and of course dealing with the fact that while this is one of the most innovation thirsty industries, it's also one of the most heavily regulated. So how do you balance the regulation with the need, demand for these next generation experiences?
No, that's a great question and great insights, Nadeem. That's sets the context for the conversation. So I think, there is a tremendous pace of innovation and, data, everybody kind of acknowledges that the value that is locked in the data. And we kind of thrive on solving the most complex business problems for our clients, using data, right? But for that, you need a world-class platform. You need a platform that, gives you trust, gives you, security, right? Is cloud agnostic. That's becoming very important. And it actually brings the data closer to the consumers.
Right.
Okay, that's absolutely key. You don't want to invest in a data platform which is going to lock up the data and make it hard to get access to. So we have been partnering with Mongo for a long time now, and we have solved some of the most complex problems in the industry using their platform. Right. So for example, for an investment bank major, we help them migrate a major portfolio of cards in like 50% of the time, right? And now we are even, venturing into more interesting use cases, like hollowing out the core and building a new digital core around a, data platform that's more responsive. I think, what Mongo folks have done here, they've created a great, partner ecosystem. So they're great to work with, and, appreciate that support.
That's great. Alan, you've been very patient here, and the irony is like, it's your show. We're like,
let's go back the other
let's
way.
go to Nadeem, yeah. No, but you made a big announcement here, essentially Atlas for Industries, and the first vertical is for financial services. And first of all, as an industry analyst, I love to see that because with specialization means that you're going to be able to better serve the needs of people in that vertical. But what does it actually mean in practice? What are you looking at doing differently that you weren't doing today? Because it looks like you have some of the most successful financial services institutions already out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the joke about me not speaking is a good thing because when we have phenomenal customers like Wells Fargo and phenomenal partners like Capgemini talking on our behalf, that's what we want. That's how MongoDB gets scaled to the masses. In regards to your question, developers in the banking industry are some of the most savviest, smartest, driven, but also they have a lot of scrutiny when it comes to regulatory issues and security.
Yes.
So the banking industry customers, the developers, especially at Wells, are looking for companies like MongoDB, partners like Capgemini, and the hyperscalers to come together and publish blueprints that they can then go use using our technologies and our people and know that the companies stand behind it, it's been tested, it's been certified, but it allows faster innovation. So that's what we announced today. One of our first competencies is in the financial services industry. We partner with all three of the hyperscalers, and I'm proud that Capgemini is with us because companies like Wells Fargo, they need the best solutions in the world, and we're excited to have a chance to give them that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it tied together a few really important threads. One of the things I took away from Dave's keynote was speed. But it's not just about doing it fast, it's about doing it well. And I think in the AI era, you think about things like the idea, the ambition to ingest all your data really quickly. And then you think about an industry like financial and you go, man, with all that PII data, the complexity even of a meeting, of the scratch on a piece of paper or a fully structured table of what's PII, what's risk, and how do we make sure we extract that in the very beginning? And that's just one of many different gates along the way. But in the end, it's about a customer being able to quickly buy a coffee, or to be able to check their balances, safely transfer their money, know that their mortgage is up to date, whatever it is, and be able to do it in a really seamless way, even a proactive way where data is coming to you. I always say that, why do I have to call to find this out? And I'm thinking a lot of the technology is going to be about making it simpler. I could talk to you guys all day. I've really enjoyed this. I want to thank you all for joining the 6-5 here. Let's do it again sometime.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you both.
Appreciate that.
Thank you guys for coming.
All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in here. We are the 6-5. We're on the road here at MongoDB Local, New York City. Great event, great conversations, Pat. I hope you will hit that subscribe button. If you watched this one and you liked it, watch all the other ones. Watch all of our shows. We appreciate you tuning in. Bye-bye now.
Thanks.